It's time for my thoughts of the day. Oh, I had a lot of thoughts today. That amazing interview I had a little while ago turned into an amazing job. So I'm very excited. Really looking forward to learning lots of new things and being able to share my knowledge. And it was just one more thing that so many good things are happening. So many good things have happened in March and keep on happening, and it's very exciting. And what it got me thinking about was this video I watched, and I wrote down because I'm really forgetful these days. So once my brain is used more, we'll get in the flow. But this guy was talking about the region beta paradox. I think it was on Momentum Venture. Anyways, so what it basically said is sometimes we're better off if our situation was worse. And that doesn't make sense really on the surface, but it's mind-blowing when you get into it. So if our situations were worse, we'd be more motivated to make the change. And I am seeing so much of that in my life in the last month, where maybe taking some risks was what I really needed to do, but I didn't want to take the risks because I was tired, I was scared, I was feeling low on myself. It talked about how we get stuck in this chasm of comfortable complacency. And it's so true. Until things are really uncomfortable and we can just kind of get by, we're not going to make changes. We're not going to go after things. We're going to be like, yeah, life sucks, but I'm still here. It's fine. It's okay. Until it gets really bad, and then we're like, no, something has to change, and I need to be the change, and then I get the motivation to be the change. If things are good, great. If they're bad, you want to change it. If things are just about passable, you become comfortably numb. And I have to say, for the last few years in my role before, I was comfortably numb. I was in pain a lot. A lot of the situations were painful, but the benefits outweighed that. And the benefits, I don't know, the positive experiences definitely outweighed the uncomfortable moments. And so I kept going. And it gave me, and I had to stay in the position I was doing what I was doing because I loved the teaching part of my role. I loved the impact that I could have on people around me and fellow caregivers, and that was why I kept doing what I was doing for so long, even when I was drained and wasn't really enjoying the business side of my previous role. And I don't, someday I'm going to share what my previous role was, but right now I'm still a little bit shy of it because it's not something that everybody accepts. It sounds like I was a prostitute or something. No. No, I was a foster parent. There we go. See, I just had to make it worse and then it was easier to do. I was a foster parent since I was 21. My husband and I were foster parents, and it was an absolutely amazing journey. We raised our children with all sorts of other children in and out of our home. We had incredible experiences and worked with some amazing people. And then I had many, many roles on boards and as president and in support groups. And then I worked as a teacher, co-trainer to caregivers, foster parents and kinship homes, through the Alberta government's teaching program for caregivers. And so I delivered 30 some courses over the years. Every year, that's how many we were supposed to offer, different courses on caregiving and understanding child development and understanding how we work and why we act the way we act and how to deal with trauma and cultural awareness, all sorts of things. So I did that for many years. And then that was the only thing keeping me going because I really, really, really struggled with the system and how it was going for the kids in our care, how foster parents are treated by the system we volunteer for. So there, I spit it all out, made it kind of longer, but I had an epiphany. It just got so bad this summer that we had some kiddos move on in a good move. So we had nobody left in our home, and we were gonna keep going. We were gonna open places for other kids to come, and we got a phone call that just tipped the scales. Had enough of the system, had enough of the government. I had enough of my life being in the hands of somebody else, and all of the hard work and effort that our family had done, and all the love we had given didn't seem to matter anymore, because it's all muddled up. It's not a very nice system to be in right now. So anyways, it got bad enough. I got out. And then I was lost. So lost with who I was, because for 22 plus years, that was my role. That's who I defined myself by, my motherhood, by our role as caregivers and supporting biological families. And I worked really hard for 10 plus years trying to work with the government to change legislation, to support caregivers in their roles, to teach and train. And I headed up so many groups, associations that would support caregivers in their endeavors. I supported foster parents going through allegations. I gave every bit of my life to that role, and I loved it. And then it was gone, because I chose for it to end, and that was a tough one. And I felt so strong and knowledgeable as an advocate and a teacher. I just felt like that was my place to be. So fast forward, here I am many months later, and just having the clouds part, because I spent a lot of time missing that role, missing the kids, missing the community. Because when you leave the fostering community, you don't keep connections with a lot of those people, because you have nothing in common anymore. When you are a foster parent, the only people that understand your life are foster parents. Pardon me. And so you really, really get close with a lot of those people, or you have a place where you share everything that maybe other people wouldn't understand. And there I was without it. I have of course, wonderful people that have stayed connected with me, and I'm very fortunate that way. I really struggled with my self-worth, because at 21, with 2 little kids, we decided to become foster parents, because we really wanted to make a difference in other children's lives that wouldn't maybe have those opportunities, or needed some help. Their parents might have needed the help, and we just give them that time to heal, so that those kids can go home or on to wherever they're going. Some kids stayed a little while, some stayed a long time, but essentially what I'm getting at is I did not go to post-secondary school. I don't have degrees. I don't have certificates or letters behind my name. And I truly believed that I needed letters behind my name before anybody would take me seriously. And yet I taught other people all of these really incredible topics for years as a caregiver, but my really unhealthy relationship with the foster care system really made me think I was completely dependent on them, and that they had, well, really when you're a caregiver, you have a licensed home, so you are a facility, and you will abide by the rules, and you will do everything as the licensing dictates. And so you become quite under the thumb, and you think that you can only do things if they say yes. Your family is pretty much run by a government agency, and that's not always the healthiest. We made it the healthiest we could. We had a really, really excellent time with every one of the kids that came through and their families. But I forgot that I'm an individual. I forgot that I have skills and I have worth outside of that. And so anyways, then it was time for me to find a real job. And I did try a job in December and January. I tried to be a 911 dispatch person, and I loved certain aspects of it. The people were incredible. I really, really enjoyed it. But then it wasn't my passion. I just thought, well, I need a job, and this job was brought up to me, and let's try something completely different. And then I realized that's not really what I want to be doing. And it was scary, and it wasn't comfortable. Some of the technical stuff turned me off. I actually was really looking forward to the answering of the calls and stuff, but dispatching fire trucks and all of that scared me. So I decided to not continue in that training program, and I felt like a failure again. I felt like I didn't quite know, but then always had this pull. I want to teach. I want to teach, not kids. I raised enough kids. I don't want to teach kids. But I have this absolute passion for inspiring. And I use the word teach because I train, I don't know, but I love to inspire other people to see their worth, to see their abilities, to see the virtues and values, the value of others around them, to understand who they are and how they work, to understand the world of disabilities, to understand compassion and empathy, and to be a vulnerable person, and that there's power in vulnerability, and that there is power in knowledge, that there is so much untapped potential in every person. And that's really what I got to teach all those years as a foster parent, not only practically with the kiddos in my home, but then with their families or with the other foster parents that I was co-training. And then I thought, well, I need letters behind my name. Nobody's really gonna listen. Like, who's Samara? Who's this chick who thinks she can teach us anything about ourselves? And that's a struggle because I think of myself as a strong person. I think my battery's dying. I see myself as an advocate, and I am strong-willed, yet sensitive, yet I've lost the words right now, but I think I can handle almost anything. I have had a life where I've had to handle a lot, and I'm good at it. So it's hard when I struggle with my self-worth or with my abilities emotionally. And so I had to learn, as things got a little bit tough over the winter with just different stuff happening financially and kids stuff and work things, and it just really from August, no, let's say May, until January, February, things were pretty hard, just heavy and hard all the time. And then I read this where things just, if they're not quite painful enough, you're not going to do anything about it. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's time. I'm uncomfortable enough. I want things to change. And then I had to remind myself, what's the worst that can happen? Someone says no to you? Big whoop. That doesn't actually usually bother me. So why am I so scared? Why am I so stuck and comfortably complacent? And so I had to, like, physically and mentally, every day, decide and remind myself, what's the worst that can happen? Give it a shot. Get up, get going, make it happen. And one by one, in March, pardon me, every single thing that I have been struggling with or worried about, or that has been sitting on our shoulders, looming over us, everything has been resolved. So it's so true that we cannot be comfortably complacent. Hello, dear. Little glitch there. I'm back. I honestly don't remember what I was saying. But that comfortable complacency is dangerous. Being scared of somebody saying no is dangerous. All of those things that we second guess and don't do because we're uncomfortable, or someone might think different than what we intended, they're all stalling us out. And it stalled me out. And anyways, it all came ahead today when in my interview for this job that I thought, well, it's not exactly what I'd like to go for, but it would be fun. It would be really fun. It would be something that I have a lot of experience in, probably way overqualified, but it's the only thing available in this small town that I really felt my passions could be used, could be explored. And there was maybe potential to grow in the field and grow within the agency. And so I thought, well, what the heck? You know, I don't need a ton of money. It doesn't pay that great, but I think that the benefits otherwise would definitely outweigh the income. And so I applied for a position, an entry-level position with an agency supporting individuals with developmental disabilities and supported independent living aid is basically what I went for. And in my interview, I talked for an hour and a half on all the experience that I have teaching and raising children with a myriad of disabilities, and my own children included. My time on boards and my time as president, my time lobbying the government. I talked about everything. Everything I did for those 22 years spilled out in my interview. And I felt so amazing because they're like, oh man, like, wow, we wish we could use you in other capacities, but you'll be incredible. And, you know, as an aide, this is fantastic. And maybe there's room to grow. Well, today I went in and took in some paperwork that I needed to take in, and I got confirmation that I will be working with an individual. Super excited about this individual. I think it's going to be a really neat matchup. But I'll be doing that just like once or twice a week because they would like to shift me into the training position for this agency. And I'm just on cloud nine. I knew it. I knew I could do this. I knew I had it in me. I knew that that's who I'm supposed to be. And I just took that chance, and it just happened to be the right person listening. And they got to see into the window of Samara and everything that is inside that is just burning to come out. And they caught on to that. And they immediately, not after working for a while, not after, they have me, I'm going to start training to be a trainer and developing some courses and to help those other aides, the staff, to understand how these individuals work and how to best support them. So much hands-on stuff, like actually how we've helped the kids in our home, like with the charts and with the understanding and all the cognitive stuff you have to know about individuals with brain injury or with developmental disabilities or illnesses that limit their independence. I get to help people understand that to enhance the lives of others. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I can't even really express in words. Like, I don't need those letters. I'm building those letters. I built those letters, and those letters are just invisible behind my name. But they're there. I got good stuff going on up here, and I have a great drive, and I know that it's all worth it in the end. And I'm so grateful that I got uncomfortable enough to stop being complacent and stop thinking less of myself and really thinking I needed to be so much more before I was worth anything, because I'm remembering the passion I had while I was a caregiver and a trainer. I'm remembering all the different experiences I had touching people's lives and the impact that I had for all those years. And I'm gonna do it again. So anyways, if it's really, really uncomfortable, take that step and get out. Don't get complacent. Don't be afraid of no. Don't be afraid of sticking your toe in at the very bottom level and just maybe thinking you might have to put some effort in to move on up. Don't think less of yourself because somebody told you for a long time that you had to do it their way or you're nobody. Yeah. I'm so excited. I just keep giggling. Anyways, now that I've told you my life story, and we're probably like 20 minutes in, thank you for listening. Sorry if I rambled. I don't think I did. Actually, I'm not sorry. No, it's my story to tell. Happy to tell it. Hope it touched you in some way. Have a great night. I know I will. I'm on cloud 9.